If you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome aboard. This is College Lacrosse Gameday. We are for the working man, the lax dad, the gambler, the smoker, the joker, the midnight toker. And this week, we hear from you. We got Collins, nail guns, week 7 slate, bets, games of the week. Let's push the field here starting Saturday, March 15th.
If you see a terrier humping a greyhound, best you just let him finish. BU 13, Loyola 7.
Is Harvard the big bad bully of the Ivy League? Well, Saturday they abused the Yale Bulldogs 14-11.
The Big Red man spread on the Ivy League. Cornell beats Princeton 15-10.
Not sure who lit the barn on fire, but Towson's Mikey Weissar put it out. The All-American ends it in overtime against Delaware 19-18.
Overtime thriller in Durham. Duke slips by Richmond 13-12.
It's not the plane, it's the pilot. Or AJ Palat. 5 ground balls, 2 cost turnovers, and a goal. An Army's 13-4 win.
High Point watches Georgetown make their point. 17 of them, to be exact. 17-10, Hoyas.
What the hell, Bucknell? Sandbag in the Patriot League? Huge upset over Colgate, 18-17.
UMass on the gas the last few weeks, 11-7 over Rutgers.
Gotta be kidding, BC. That was a stretch. They give Vermont the business, 10-7.
Penn spreads the word of God and the ball around better than Brown, 9-8 Quakers.
Bobby O'Grady produces the sweet gravy. In overtime for Marquette, they beat Utah.
Villanova got lost on Hawk Hill. St. Joe's defends the nest again, 12-8.
A check, please, says Anish, as Maryland buried their 12th in a statement win over Virginia, 12-6.
I guess it was a dogfight. Bryant takes Albany out, 12-11.
John Madman Madsen was the hero in double overtime. Hofstra stones Stony Brook, 13-12.
The Blue Jays sank the midshipmen of Navy in Annapolis, 12-9 Hopkins.
Sunday, March 16th. It's funny, Mitchell Puckey leaves and Ohio State turns into a wagon. Another win for the Buckeyes over Denver this time, 15-11. All right, welcome back to the Creators Podcast. We're going to catch up for just a minute before we get to our call-ins here. Mike was in Boston for St. Patrick's Day. Mike, just walk us through your weekend. How was it?
It was an absolute movie, as I would have expected, and as would my little brother, my boy Donnie, and his 2 cousins would have expected. It was a long 3-day weekend. Got to see a lot of old friends. Got to drink a little bit too much Guinness, and celebrate the great holiday of St. Patrick's Day.
Mike,
that's for sure.
Mike, did you go to the parade?
I did. I went to the parade on Sunday in Southie. For anyone who hasn't experienced that, it's a hoot. It's a good time.
What was your favorite float, if you remember any of them?
That's a good question. I didn't even know there were floats. No. The best part was we would just scream to try and get people to honk their horns, and every time they honked their horns, we would just freak out. That was the most fun I had.
Did you get hit in the head?
I also am a child.
Did you get hit in the head with like a lollipop or something? Usually whip candy at you and stuff as they walk by.
No.
Usually good for a Jolly Rancher off the retina.
No. No candy to the head. Good stuff. Yeah, I was at a Darty, as they call them. The kids call them Darties, day parties. A little play on words, but I was at one of those on Saturday in South Boston, and I was out in a porch, and I had to go tinkle, so I walked upstairs into the living room to the bathroom, and on my way to the bathroom, what do you know? I see a TV on ACC Network with Maryland, Virginia in the third quarter, and I sunk my teeth into 20 minutes of lacrosse. Kind of just disappeared on everyone.
Yeah, I went to I accompanied Dan at that Darty, and I had lost him for about 15 minutes. I said, "Where the hell is he?" And then I walk upstairs, and lo and behold, he's watching Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah, and it was close at that point, and then it was before Maryland just started knocking him out. Anish is back. Anish is back in the mix. It's great to have him back. It just feels right, and it took a while, and he's finally back in the mix. It's just good to hear his voice. You don't know how long you're going to get him for. You'd have to think he's going to be calling some huge football games at some point, or who knows, he might sell out. I wouldn't blame him. He'd get some mega contract to go do some big sport. Mac and 80 got a great opportunity too. So you just gotta cherish the moments.
Yeah. He just does it right. And we didn't have the sound on when we were watching that game, but we went back and watched the highlights. Like you and I were just watching it, and it seemed like it was a stand-up comedy bit by Anish.
Yeah,
we were laughing. It was just it was well done, and he's just got such a great voice and understands the game so well from a commentator's perspective that it just makes it an enjoyable experience.
Because he cares. He's passionate about it.
Yep.
Cash only, baby. All right, let's get to Collins.
You know, I was actually lacrosse. Is that game with the fucking fish stick there, the net there?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Calling in. My name's Dan Arestia.
Pat Spencer Jr., if you're not committed to Maryland and ranked top 3 in your class, by the end of your junior year, I'll shave your head and I'll ship your ass off to boarding school in Alaska faster than Lamar Jackson 40-yard dash.
First one we got for the call-in is coming from Paul Rabel Top String. We got a Mary Bang Kill.
College Lacrosse Gameday. This is Paul Rabel's Top String here. The voice that you're listening to is actually not a joke. I got this way by yelling at floats for 8 hours straight. Baxter and I combined for probably 40 Guinnesses, which is impressive considering he's only 13 years old. Quick question. I have a feeling I know how the LS guys are going to lean here. Marry 1, bang 1, kill 1, Pro 7, CPXR, and the STX brain buckets, the OG ones, though. Thanks, guys.
The OG brain buckets from SDX.
My first take on that is marry the Pro 7. Probably the greatest helmet ever made.
Yeah.
And it probably always will
Agreed.
be. It's iconic. It's big, right? If you have a small head, like I have a small head, it doesn't fit you that well, but they make inserts that allow it to fit your head right. Pro 7, greatest helmet of all time. CPXR, when it came out, it was like, damn, that thing is a future.
It was tilt.
Yeah, it was tilt.
I mean, so was the Pro 7, but it was tilt, and like it had the fin too.
Yeah.
Which is new.
I think
Which
of
was
like
Steve's.
Ryan Drenner wearing it,
Yeah.
Jojo Marasco.
Yeah.
Like it just looked nice. So that'd be my bang, and then I'd kill the STX buckets. I only wore those once. I got one for like an All-Star game, and it just didn't feel right. It was heavy. It was bulky. It wasn't great.
Those were breaking down too. I remember. Mike, did you ever wear one of those? I'd love to see Mike in an OG STX brain bucket.
Not that I can remember. So probably not.
What did you wear? A leatherhead, strings in the back.
I wore a CPXR for a long time. I didn't start playing until like fifth grade, sixth grade. So I was like the Pro 7 transition to the CPXR time. And I would make sweet love to a CPXR, man. I was fired up when I got that helmet.
Yeah, those are nice.
My order's the same as Hayden's. It's the same order.
Yeah. So marrying the Pro 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Bang the CPXR and killing
Making sweet love.
You know what I also saw for the first time in a while? I saw a picture of it. The CLH2.
Oh,
That was like everybody's first starter helmet. But that thing was pretty nice. Like on college teams, that helmet looked pretty sick.
yeah.
I think like that style, like the flat brim, right, kind of going back to like the old school helmets, where it's like a flat brim, right, a little like more rounded at the top. I always thought that was a good look, and like if you wear that thing right, it looks nice.
It's also easy to slap a piece of tape on it with some Sharpie.
Yeah.
Write your name on it too.
Put your name on
It's
there.
nice and clear.
Yeah. The best helmet of all time's got to be the Gate, like Stormtrooper.
Oh yeah, like Virginia used to wear.
They literally look like Star Wars characters. Yeah, Virginia
Yeah.
wore them for a year. Yeah, those are some awesome, probably some giddy images of those way back in the day.
Yeah.
It was a good start to Collins. Whatever happened to a good old fashioned Mary Bang Kill? Now we're doing bench start cut. I like a good old fashioned one of these. So
Cool.
Next
All
call.
right. We got J Rock calling in. He's talking about donations and legacies.
Hey, Rockefeller here. I was just doing some reminiscing on my college days at St. Bonaventure. Anyways, while I was looking back, I realized my only contributions to the team was a brand new locker room and a brand new freshman girls' dorm, both of which my dad so generously donated. Now I wanted to ask you boys, who in college lacrosse has made the longest lasting impression on our game? Let me know.
I don't know what he's asking, like from a donor perspective.
Like a player.
I know. I think Joe Tsai at Yale, he donated that whole Yale facility. There's not a lot of guys like him though that have been that generous. I'm sure there has, but
And he
maybe not
owns
as well known.
2 NLL teams too. And I'm sure he's a big investor in the PLL. Joe Tsai.
I think J Rock was saying him talking from himself. He was saying that his dad's contribution was his contribution. So he's saying more from like a player's perspective, like who left. That's how I took
From
it.
like
at
a
least.
financial perspective.
No, just
or-
like a player whose legacy just is unmovable and unmarkable.
I want to let Hayden talk about some Wikipedia digging you did on a name that we bring up on this show, the Schmeiser Award.
Oh yeah,
That's an interesting legacy. You got some background on. I don't know if you're ready to fill us in on that.
Bill Schmeiser, who he's a namesake of the Schmeiser Award.
Best defender in the country.
Yeah. Bill Schmeiser was not the best defenseman in the country, but
the award.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. He was one of the first coaches at Johns Hopkins. And then after Hopkins, he also coached for free. He was a true volunteer. And he built that Hopkins program. He also started the Mount Washington Lacrosse Club, which for those of you who don't know is probably the most successful club lacrosse team of all time, amateur lacrosse team, right? None of those guys got paid, but way back in the day, I'm talking like the 1930s, 40s, they would play against, Hopkins and Navy and Maryland and all these teams. And Mount Washington was a culmination of literally the best players of all time, right? Gary Gates played on it. Paul Gates played on it. You go down the list, right? They graduated college, would go play for this Mount Washington Lacrosse Club. And Bill Schmeiser was the guy who kind of organized the whole thing. And obviously he left a huge legacy on that. He left a huge legacy on the Hopkins program, so many other programs. Definitely a guy who's in that category of people who have left a very meaningful impact on the game and a strong tradition of integrity and love for the sport. Oh, yeah.
Gone.
Big time.
All right. Next call we have is coming in from John Moneyball Mathers. He is talking about coaches, college coaches.
Hey, fellas, long time no see. Moneyball calling in. They talk a lot in football about the football wife and how important the coach's wife is to the team, to the head coach's sanity. And look, I can personally attest that it's just as important in the lax game. So my question to you fellas is, what coach in D1 is making the sweetest love to his wife, night in, night out, who's always bringing it? All right.
Let's go to the next call, unless anyone has
Pass.
thoughts. Mike, any thoughts over there?
My thought is I can't think of one college coach's wife in all of D1, so we'll go next.
Thanks, Moneyball.
Thanks, Moneyball. Good one. Okay. Next call we got coming in from our boy Will Perry. He's talking about Colgate. What happened with Colgate?
What's up, guys? Sorry for the late submission here. I got one quick take for you, and that would be take +5 for the Raiders on Saturday at noon. I think last week they probably went to the jug on Thursday night, got a little bit too banged up on $1 beers, and ended up completely blowing a game that they should have never even, allowed their opponent to be involved in Bucknell and lose 17-18. So I'd watch out for the Red Raiders this weekend. And think they're going to come out and, show the country why they're up there with Syracuse as one of the best teams in, northern New York. Have a good one, boys.
I like the take a lot. And it's a game we're probably not going to talk about much in this episode, but it's an upset that needs to be addressed because it's a big one. I think Colgate, when you think of hottest teams in the country right now, Colgate comes to the top of mind. Maybe St. Joe's too, Army, Maryland, whatever. Colgate's one of them. Mike, I'll start with you on this one because I know you got some strong opinions on the Colgate program when it comes to their ups and downs.
I was just about to say they finally did it. I bet against them early.
Mm-hmm.
Dan made the point. I don't think this is the year because you made the mistake too.
Mm-hmm.
I put my money where my mouth was. They absolutely smacked Loyola at Loyola. They played good ball since, and then they play an in-conference game, a Bucknell team who's a good team. No matter what you think about Bucknell, they're a good team. I watched them play this year, and they probably came in cocky. Maybe they partied on Thursday night, like Will said. Maybe a little hungover. I don't know. Didn't hydrate, and they got beat by a inferior team, to say the least. Because I do believe that Colgate is a very, very good team. They've proven it that they can beat some of the best teams in all of D1, and they got to finish strong now. They have to. But that's my thought.
Yeah, no, it is pretty amazing that, Bucknell, a team that loses to Holy Cross 2 weeks before, goes and hangs 18 on, arguably the hottest team in the country in Colgate. So, yeah, I think this is just a classic story of the Patriot League beating each other up. I think looking forward to this Colgate-Syracuse game, I mean, for both teams, this is massive. Like, you think, like, Colgate's an underdog here, which they are. If they lose this game, they're done, right? Their only shot at tournament play is winning the Patriot League, which is tough. If Syracuse loses this game, it's like, who is Syracuse, right? We don't know. So, yeah, I like that take by Will because this actually is a huge game, right? It's not, a top 5 matchup, but both these teams are pretty much playing for their seasons right now, or at least on Saturday they will be.
It would have been a game of the week. If Colgate won, which I thought They were. I think we all did. It would have been a game of the week, but it's not. We only got 2 games of the week.
All right, next call, we got Cannon Lax calling in. He's a MCLA guy, played NAIA ball. He has a question about club.
What's up, guys? This is Coach Cannon with Cannon Lax and Game On Sports. I had a quick question for y'all. If you were a 17-year-old applying to college and you could only go to Division 1 or 2 MCLA schools, where would you go and why?
He just sounds like a lacrosse coach, Coach Cannon. Like I can hear his voice at a summer camp. It's kind of raspy. You know, he's been yelling at kids for 3 days straight, and then you hear that. That's a coach. That's a ball coach. This is interesting. I need to think about this one. Honestly, do a little bit of research to know who's D1, who's D2. Top of mind from.
You want me to list? I'll list the top 10 teams in D1 MCLA. I got the rankings in front of me.
Okay. Rattle them off.
Ready? BYU, Cal Poly, Liberty, Northeastern, Utah Valley, Florida, Texas, Florida State, San Diego State, Georgia Tech, Georgia.
Northeastern was that good?
Division 2, UC San Diego, Florida Atlantic, Air Force, St. Thomas, Northwest Nazarene, UNC Charlotte, GVCSU. Okay, some of these I've never heard of, but yeah, you got some big SEC schools, some big ACC schools. You know, maybe I think one team that's kind of been in the news recently for MCLA is Texas. You know, remember last year they had a kid who tried out for the Cannons, got an opportunity at the PLL Combine. I believe Kyle Hartzell was their coach. I'm not sure if he still is, but Texas is a big school, probably has pretty good funding for a club lacrosse program, and it seems like they definitely take it seriously down there, as do all these other teams. The MCLA is legit. It's not just a old man's league or college kid league, right? It's good lacrosse, and these players and coaches care a lot about it.
It's kind of one of those things where if you're an MCLA kid, you care about your lifestyle. Like you're going to a place where you want to have fun. It's about other things than lax. So I feel like if you're like an outdoorsy person, you go somewhere Pacific Northwest, like Oregon.
Tree huggers.
For example. Like sick gear. I did a tour there before St. Lawrence was in the picture just to see it, and it was pretty sick. Great facilities. So that's what I'm seeing.
That is right down your alley, Brett.
Yeah.
The outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
You're a tree hugger.
I'm thinking the same
Hopefully
thing as
not.
Brett, though.
It's an injury.
In MCLA, yes, you care about lacrosse, but you care about a lot of things outside of lacrosse. You have an entire life outside of just lax, and I'm thinking big SEC all the way if I were to make a choice. I heard Georgia in there. Good school, sick football, sick sports in general, and good lax.
Palky's done a couple of videos with some of these schools. I think he did one with Liberty. It seemed cool. It seemed like they put a lot into it, some good facilities there. I think Liberty would be cool. I think it's a Catholic school, like big-time Catholic school.
Yeah.
Christian school, something like that.
Go there, play lax, find God. It sounds like a great experience.
Yeah, they do have pretty legit facilities. And I'm sure a lot of these other programs do as well.
Next call.
All right, we're throwing it to Dean, midi back. Again, Dean's calling in about some Syracuse predictions.
Hey, Dean Mitty back here. Now I'm going to lay this out plain and simple for y'all. Q's is dangerous. I'm telling you, the oils from Spalina's mullet must have dripped down into their Jenny Lights or vodka crayons, whatever those kids are drinking nowadays, to create the perfect conference play elixir. Brad Callis, you can shut your mouth. Harvard was a fluke. I guarantee you'll see the Orange come out on top of the ACC. Undefeated.
Heat from Mitty back, as always. Undefeated Syracuse in the ACC.
They could do it. They could do it, Interesting take. I think it's a long shot. But then again, like you start to look at it, it's like, is it a long shot?
Who if we all had to pick an ACC winner right now, who would it be? Mike, I'll start with you.
I feel like I have to stick with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Until I'm proven
Safe
otherwise.
pick.
Fair. Brett?
You think UNC makes a run?
They're probably one of the favorites. Hayden?
Yeah, UNC.
I think the hottest team in the ACC right now is Duke, and I think they're
I hate
starting
admitting it though.
I think they're starting to
Rope
really
unit.
click a little bit, and I could see them really heating up here down the stretch. I mean, they're 8-1. They have studs, great play in between the blue lines. Like, I don't know. They kind of have everything you need. And, as much as we want to say like they haven't been producing or like not playing to their potential, they win games and they're experienced and they're well coached and they have studs. And I think they're really starting to put it together, which is scary for the ACC.
What if Cuse has the opposite of what Dean just said and they go 0 in ACC play or like 1 win? Because you guys just talked about, I kind of just thought the ACC was down this year, and you guys just mentioned some very valid points about some hot teams and some very talented teams. That's possible too, is it not?
Yeah, it is possible. I think the ACC is the third best conference in college lacrosse right now.
Wow. What's 1 and 2?
I'd say 1 is Big Ten, 2 is Ivy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's debatable. I think with the ACC, just because it's 5 teams and all of them are blue bloods and loaded rosters, anything can happen. Syracuse could go 4-0. They go 0-4. Like, we don't know.
Yeah. Virginia, too. Who knows? You just, like, in the back of your mind the whole time, you're like, Lars is the head coach. It's Virginia. What could happen there? And it's kind of, in years past, too, you kind of just took UNC out of the picture because they were down for 2-3 years. And now they're, Brett just said they might be the favorite. And who knows? Who knows what could happen? No.
If Cuse does make the playoffs, which they should, that's a team you don't want to draw, whoever you are as a seed in the playoffs.
Yep.
To complement his point.
You kind of need to go. Any of these teams are going to have to go 500 through the ACC if they want a legitimate shot at large. And some teams will go above that, some teams will go below it. But if you can get 3 wins from the ACC, you're probably got a good shot.
Fair.
Next call.
Okay. Anonymous caller. He is talking about DraftKings success.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, baby. Scared money don't make money, baby. Ha! Someone should tell my mom she should have made her debit card pin 1, 2, 3, 4. I hacked that shit in like 5 seconds. Set myself 20 grand, threw it into DraftKings, and put it all on the Terps to cover -3.5 against Virginia and frickin' McCabe Millen. Talk about the lock of a century. I'm gonna be showing up to practice in class in Gucci loafers and telling my frickin' teachers to frickin' kick rocks. I'm the king of the world, baby. Thinking about buying a PLL franchise with my winnings. Just wondering if you guys had any thoughts on which team I should buy. Thanks, guys.
Turns it into a question for us at the end.
We need on the side of a highway there.
Yeah, sounds like this subway. He's running away from home.
I don't think he's at the wall this week.
No, he's buying some Gucci loafers. He needs a name too.
I mean, very biased, but the Cannons, they're a profitable team. There's not a lot of profitable teams. The other one, maybe the Outlaws. I mean, possibly.
You can't just say they're profitable though.
No, but say you had the money and you could own one PLL team. You're the owner. You're the Jerry Jones of that PLL team.
Where do you want to live?
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I think the Redwoods need work, and I feel like I'd set somebody up there to be successful. It would be nice living in California too.
Okay.
Probably there or Boston. I mean, Boston's easy choice.
Mike?
Back to out west, Brett, I see.
Tree hugger.
I mean, it's simple. My team or my favorite team is Boston Cannons. I'm just going to buy my favorite team, just like I would buy the New York Football Giants if I could. They suck.
You should buy, Mike.
I don't know.
I'd be a great GM.
It's easy to say the Cannons for sure. I think the Chaos just have a great brand, and they do a great job at their games. When they play in Charlotte or wherever when they were the host city or whatever, it felt like a home game for the Chaos. And I think we give the PLL a lot of shit, rightfully so. We have the nuts to do it too. Some people don't. But they did a good job of each home city feeling like a home game for each team. When the Cannons played at Harvard, it felt like a home game for the Cannons. When the Chaos played in Charlotte, it felt like a home game for the Chaos. The Redwoods, awesome atmosphere wherever they played. But I don't know, the Cannons, they have the guy, the Carolina Reaper.
Yeah.
He's a fan who dresses.
He's a super fan.
Yeah, he's a super fan. He dresses up like he's a 30-year NFL fan for the Carolina games. And, if I'm an owner, I'm going right up to him and I'm saying, hey, do you want to do a commercial for Chevy, or I don't know, or
Who would you hire as your head coach if you were in Carolina?
if I was in Carolina, who would my head coach be?
Lars.
It's got to be. It's got to be
not his
someone. It's got to be
personality.
someone like realistic. Got to be someone
Yeah.
you could actually hire. Mike Daly.
I like that.
Mike Daly is just getting groomed to become a head coach of a Power 3 school. Like
Yeah,
that's
he's-
why he's at Maryland right now. That's why maybe they're unbelievable this year too.
He's just bolstering his already magnificent resume.
Yeah,
Just taking another step in the right direction.
yeah. Why is John Tillman so successful? That's what he asked himself this offseason. That's why he's there, writing notes on the sideline in game. Mike, who's your head coach?
Just stick with our video game teams. I would go with Jeff Tambroni. He's already kind of in the Northeast. I think he's a great coach. Hobart alum. Get my boys ready.
Chris
Yeah.
Islanian.
If I owned the Carolina Chaos, I would make a large effort to get Chris Bates to come over from Utah. I think Chris Bates is the best PLL head coach right now. I think he's handled the draft the best. I think he's built his teams to be successful every single year. He's gotten the right guys on the field. He's successful in the regular season, in the sixes. I think he's just like the best PLL head coach right now. So I'd make a big effort for him, but
Hard to argue. It's hard to argue that. And also the even in the draft too, he's dominating. The Hayward pick was great. Had the play of the year in the championship. Yeah.
Guys,
the Woodward, you're talking? Mason
yeah.
Woodward?
I never thought we'd have this long of a conversation of the PLL on this podcast, but
I know.
Yeah, let's move on.
I guess good for us, man.
And friend of the podcast.
Yes.
Coach Bates.
Thanks for mentioning. Friend of the program. All right, let's move on to our next section. Don't forget to like, follow the pod. Thanks for calling in, everyone. Water guns, that's a birthday party. That's a birthday party thing. A nail gun.
Children.
A nail gun puts a nail in something, and it stays there for 30 years. And it does, and it keeps it there. And these nail guns are keeping their programs on top. Hey, how's it going? I'm Dan Ryan.
Aiden,
Who's your son? What number?
22.
22. Is he committed yet? Does he know where he's going?
Oh, yeah.
Where's he going?
Can't tell. Ivy League.
Ivy League? Sure. Is he a Fogo?
No.
What is he?
Two-handed attackman.
Two-handed attackman now.
Right.
Now, does coach have him play on X or?
Oh, he kind of goes wherever he wants.
Yeah, that's what my boy gets to do too.
Oh, yeah?
So he's committed to Manhattan right now.
Oh.
I mean, it's just leverage. We're trying to start conversations with some bigger names, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Got to get your foot in the door.
I called Lars the other day actually.
Okay. You
Yeah.
called him?
I
Did
called
he pick up?
He didn't, but I left a long voicemail and talked about what we can do from a financial perspective. He's going to keep playing club ball. He's going to all the tournaments, Philly Showcase, the Crab Fest, you name it. He'll be there, and he better get the ball, 50% of the game, or his coach he's gonna hear about it.
Good, as he should.
As he should. Shout out all the Lax dads. If you guys are tuning in, we appreciate it. Come up to us, tell us about your son and how unbelievable he is if you'd like to. Brett, you want to talk about Bully Boy? Then we'll talk about nail guns. A lot of Lax dads are nail guns.
Yeah. And some of them might drink Bully Boy.
Yeah.
Bully Boy. It's Boston born, expertly crafted, unapologetically smooth. Bully Boy Distillers brings you whiskey, rum, gin, and more. Made the right way in small batches, but with big character. Raise your glass to a bold flavor and raise your glass to Bully Boy. You can visit them at bullyboydistillers.com. Our nail gun. What do we got?
All right, this is our nail gun this week is a guy who Mike and Dan, you guys may know well. People may have forgotten who he was, but he's back to national prominence now. So just a little history for our two co-hosts here. This nail gun played you guys in 2021. His team beat yours 14-12. He had 6 points. Next year in 2022, played you guys again. You guys actually beat him in a shootout. It was 22-19, I believe. He had 9 points. Both of you guys, starting defensemen, recorded 0 caused turnovers in both games. Fast forward a couple years, he goes and transfers to St. Joe's. Didn't see any action last year. Think he was injured. Maybe it was other reasons. Who knows? But now he's starting that attack for St. Joe's. He started 6 of their 7 games. and St. Joe's is rolling. Mike or Dan, you have any idea who this nail gun of the week is?
I think we both know exactly who it is.
We know who it is.
It's Richie LaCalandra, attackman for St. Joe's, played at LIU, transferred to St. Joe's. He's back on attack this year. If any of you watched the Penn St. Joe's game last night, it was hard to miss Richie LaCalandra. He had 5 points, had some unbelievable takes, some unbelievable looks, and maybe the most impressive thing about the whole game, Mike, he took your boy Brendan Lavelle to the rack every single chance he got. He probably went to the rack 10 times against Brendan Lavelle, and he scored 3 goals on him, had a bunch of great shots. Luckily, they have Emmett Carroll in net, but he was in full form. I remember watching him play against you guys a couple years ago, and I was impressed, but he grew. He's a little bit bigger. He's quicker. He's a little more mature, and he's now the leading scorer on St. Joe's. And St. Joe's, if you haven't noticed, is on a roll, right? They own Philadelphia. They beat Drexel, Villanova, Penn. They are the best team in Pennsylvania at the moment. They're currently 6-2, ranked probably in the top 15 now. And on a team full of nail guns, a team like St. Joe's, who we talk about so often, right? Just a team you'll watch on TV, and it's like, wow, every one of those guys is a beast. He stuck out to me against Penn, and he is very much so deserving of the nail gun of the week this week. Richie LaCalandra, congratulations.
Also, another shout out to a St. Joe's Hawk, Levi Virch. He needs to be talked about. He was, I think Kark made like a way too early big board for the PLL draft for this year, and Levi Virch was like the 1, 2, or 3 pick. And I think a lot of people were like, who is that? Why is he a top 3 pick? He goes to St. Joe's. He doesn't play at Duke. There was a post on Instagram St. Joe's had, and it was Levi Virch's stats over the first 6-7 games of the year, not including Penn. Let me just go backwards on his stats. 8 ground balls, 4 caused turnovers. 8 ground balls, 2 caused turnovers. 1 assist, 8 ground balls, 4 caused turnovers. 6 ground balls, 1 caused turnover. His lowest GB total in a game, excluding this last one against Penn, I don't know what it was, might have been higher, is 6 ground balls. I was a long stick midi, played a lot of games. This isn't a flex. I never had over 4 ground balls. If I had 4 ground balls, I was drinking top shelf that night from the local watering hole. But he does it every single week. He scores goals. He has assists. He's a stud. St. Joe's, as you said, Hayden, they're on a roll. A lot of guys' names who we could mention. They're going to be dangerous in the A10. And the A10 right now, Mike, they got some good teams.
Yeah, a lot to talk about there. I'll start with your nail gun, and good shout with Levi as well. Both good shouts. Yes, me and Dan played Richie a lot. I also he put me on probably every single lacrosse highlight account. He lefty split at LIU, split right, went like lefty behind the back, goal. I had to watch that on the bus ride home, so thank you for that, Richie. But great player. I remember when he transferred to St. Joe's, I was kind of excited to see what he would look like on that team. He missed, I believe, an entire year, maybe more, injured, and I wasn't sure how he'd kind of fit in with, their system and what they do, but he's come out real strong this year. I'm sure he's finally fully healthy. It's good to see him out there. And as far as the A10 goes, I was, of the big 3 mid-majors, I thought they were going to be the worst off with all the graduation from last year, and there's 3 teams in the top 20 right now of the A10, and there's only 5 teams total in the A10. So that's pretty impressive. They're probably the best mid-major in all of college lacrosse right now.
Yeah. St. Joe specifically, think about the cast of guys they lost on the offensive end, and they're still beating Penn, sweeping Philadelphia. Great lacrosse from the A10. Let's hope those guys stay in the top 20. We're certainly rooting for them. Don't forget to like, follow, all that crap. Maybe look at merch if you're wearing rags or something crappy. Next segment. There are some other stories we want to make sure we cover our All Guts section.
All guts, no glory.
All Guts, no glory. What we got? You need a second? Are you good? All Guts, no glory section. Before we get into it, we need to talk about this new centerpiece on our table here, on our poker table here.
Beautiful centerpiece. Big shout out to EMAS Strings. It's based out of Sudbury, Mass. and Maynard. He strung traditional pockets for some pros. John Sexton, friend of the podcast, friend of the show. He cranks out the game's best material in terms of a traditional pocket with leathers. He's been kind enough to offer, if you DM him at this Instagram tag, I'll pop in the video, You get $10 off any pocket. You can ask him what head as well. I think he does a bundle deal. But as you look at it, it's perfection. It's going to come off of those shooters nice and taut for you. You're going to score some Genos. Great coaching head as well, too. If you come on the sideline with a traditional, that's where we find this hitting in. UMass Strings. Thanks for joining the show.
I think this aligns with our viewers a little bit, too, because I speak for a lot of you. No one's going to Dick's or Lax.com and buying a stick. No one our age is doing that. Maybe Hayden is. But you want something nice, something that feels historic and is quality, and I think that's what he provides. Like, if I were to get a stick, I want something like this.
He's got it on a Bone String King 3V.
Yep. It's actually got a good pocket.
As well.
At first you think it's tight, but it's got a pretty good pocket, and it's just going to break in and get better and better.
Absolutely.
Especially
and that is a real traditional. This one we got behind us is like a variation, but this is strung with one string all the way through, which not many people in the world can do that. So yeah, go check out UMass Strings. He's the real deal. For traditional pockets, there's no better traditional pocket stringer in the world.
He's a second generation fighter too. Second generation stringer from the great Yoshitaka Ando. All right, all guts, no glory. Excuse me. Okay. Just to give everyone an update, we had a good week last week. Probably some easy games to pick, but we were 13-3 last week. Not bad, boys. What do you think about that, boys?
Not bad.
That one, boys.
We are 50-33 overall, which ain't bad and not too bad. But we are going to go through some of these. Do we need to make a phone call? I think we do need to make a phone call. Let's do this super quick. All right, to help us split the picks is our fourth roommate, who is kind of a fan of the pod, played at Union, D-Mitty, beast, a man of very few words, Chris Kelly. Chris is going to pick two games for us. Chris, just give me the straight winner of Richmond at Georgetown.
Richmond.
Lafayette at Loyola.
Loyola.
Dartmouth at Penn.
Penn.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
Yep, anytime.
Yep.
Thanks to Chris for helping us out there. Saturday, March 22nd. Some decent games, only 2 games of the week. So this is going to be kind of the meat of it. You guys know the drill. Mike, Hayden, you each have 2 timeouts. Talk about lines, talk about games, talk about coaches, talk about their families, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Starting Saturday, March 22nd, BU at Army. Army is a wagon, and they proved it against Lehigh. They're 4.5 goal favorites in this game. We're taking Army. Brown at UMass. Brown played Penn pretty tight last week. Think they can do some good things. UMass had a big win over Rutgers. UMass 1.5 goal favorites at home. This one we are taking UMass.
Next we have Bryant -1.5 at Vermont. Spread tells it all. Could be a pretty good game. Collectively we have Bryant in this one. Next we have Drexel +5.5 at Fairfield. Fairfield's got a lot of love. I think they can continue the streak here. The team has Fairfield in this one.
Colgate 5-goal underdogs at Syracuse. We talked about it in the opener. Could have been a game of the week if Colgate didn't go to the bars, supposedly, or hypothetically, or our prediction before the Bucknell game. They kind of blew it, but could have been a game of the week. Instead, it's not. Colgate 5-goal underdogs at Syracuse. We're taking Cuse. A great game here. Richmond 1.5 goal dogs at Georgetown. I mean, Richmond's just playing everyone neck and neck. Doesn't matter who it is. Overtime loss last week to Duke, which was a great game. Watched pretty much the whole thing. The crew here is taking Richmond. Think they're finally going to get over the hump, get that second big out-of-conference win of the season.
Pause.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my timeout too.
Double timeout.
Double timeout. First one ever?
First one ever.
Maybe it should have been a game of the week.
All right, Hayden.
Mike, I'll go quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Richmond beating Virginia early in the season, right? It put everybody on notice for Richmond. Since then, they've been in the spotlight a couple times against Duke, against Maryland, and who was the third team that they lost to? Cornell. And I think Richmond is certainly a good team, right? They're deserving of where they're ranked, but this is like a perfect test game to see who Richmond is, right? Virginia struggled early on, great win, but I don't know how much value that holds. Beating Georgetown would say a lot about Richmond. I'm very excited to watch this game because these are both two great teams who I think are like very evenly matched. I do think Georgetown has some more impressive wins, and Richmond's definitely been in those moments before, but they haven't really capitalized. So I'm looking for them to get over the edge this week against Georgetown.
Michael.
Yeah, I like the line here too. I like Richmond plus 1.5 because I think I would pick a money line, honestly, which I might take. Yeah, I mean, you said it all, Hayden. I'll go quick too. I mean, their last two losses, both 1-goal losses to Duke and Cornell. The other loss is Maryland, who's the number one team in the country. They've proven that they can beat good teams. They beat UVA, and they've proven that they can hang in there with the top as well. And I'm like, Georgetown's a good team, but I also think Georgetown really hasn't screamed, that they're a top contender to me yet this year. So I think they have something to prove as well. And I do know that Richmond, or at least I believe that they're not fans of Georgetown. I remember that first-round playoff game in Philadelphia, like 4 years ago, I believe it was a 1-goal loss. Richmond lost by 1. Should have won that game. I know that still stands, so that'll be a fun one to watch.
Next game we have here, St. John's versus Hobart. This one is at a neutral site, Ridgefield High School in Connecticut. Mike and I will be in attendance. There's going to be a Hobart alumni bus going from Manhattan to Ridgefield High School. I cannot wait for this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have the miserable commute into New York City Friday morning. Not looking forward to that, but very much looking forward to this. Hobart's a 1.5 goal favorite in this game. We are taking the Statesman.
Next, we have the Michigan Wolverines +7 going to College Park to play the Terrapins. Don't know about the spread. Iffy, but speaks for itself. We're going with Maryland. Next, we got Providence +4.5 at St. Joe's. We couldn't say enough good things about St. Joe's. I think they keep it going at Hawk Hill, St. Joe's.
No time out there. That's an interesting one. Providence, I mean, they just beat Loyola, and St. Joe's is on a roll. Just a good mid-major out-of-conference bout. Stony Brook, 4.5 goal dogs at Towson. Towson finally got that big win they've been waiting for and searching for. Finally got it done. Mikey Weishart with the overtime game winner and a barn burner against Delaware. We are taking Towson in this one. Air Force at Marquette. Air Force is a 1.5 goal favorite on the road. This is the ASUN, if I'm not mistaken. ASUN is getting rolling here. We're taking the Air Force fighter pilots in this one.
Marquette's Big East.
Mm-hmm.
Crap. You're right. Marquette is Big East.
Air Force is ASUN, though.
Just keeping you honest.
Thank you. Thank you for doing so.
Next, we got the Cornell Big Red -4.5 at Yale at that beautiful stadium we were talking about earlier. I think the spread is probably adequate. Yale hasn't showed us a lot this year. Still going to be a good game. We have Cornell. Next, we have Lafayette, 2-goal underdogs at Loyola. I'm not sure Loyola is all that right now. I think that might be a pretty good game.
Loyola's 0-7.
They're not very good.
With a 1-goal loss against Hopkins and Maryland.
I would look at Lafayette there. We have Loyola there. Next, we have Rutgers +5.5 at Hopkins. That's what's on the sheet, fellas. We have the Blue Jays in that one.
Dartmouth at Penn.
Double.
2 double timeouts.
Damn.
Yeah.
Quick episode.
Mike, you want to talk about this one? I'll talk about a surprise game at the end.
I just think the crazy thing about this game is one of my preseason sleepers for a national champion was Penn. And Dartmouth was not even cracking the top 20 by far on my preseason, watch or whatever you want to call it. I think I would take, if you put a gun to my head, I would pick Dartmouth. I would pick Dartmouth money line over Penn right now, the way that they're playing.
Yeah.
With Penn coming off a loss to St. Joe's as well. So that's what's so wild to me in this game, and it's going to be a really, really good Ivy League game and very, very important because both these teams, if they want a shot to make the playoffs, they need to win the Ivy League. So you got to start now.
Yeah, historically, Penn does not lose to Dartmouth ever. It's never even a question. I've watched Penn a good amount this year, and all I can say is thank God they have Cam Rubin, because if they didn't have him, their offense would be useless. Like, Cam Rubin puts the ball in the net. He's got a great shot. Like, they try to get the ball to him most possessions. If they didn't have him, I don't know if they'd win a game this year. Like, that's how, frustrating this Penn offense is. I think if you're looking at the coach there, Mike Morgan, who's historically a good coach, maybe he's having a down year here, but Penn's a proud program that should never be underdogs to Dartmouth.
But their defense, though, we'll look at the over-under in that one. Bring it up in our Feed the Family section. Last game in All Guts, Denver versus Duke. This one is at Highland Park High School in Dallas, Texas. Duke is a 4-goal favorite in this game. Denver struggling this year big time. Duke, they remind me of the Kansas City Chiefs this year in football, honestly. Just kind of finding ways to get it done at the end of the game. Not super impressive, but it's tough to argue right now. Like, they kind of are hot. They're playing some pretty good lacrosse. Overtime win against Richmond. This year, that's a good win. That's a good win. We're taking Duke in this game. Think they're going to stay hot. That is our last All Guts game. Hayden, you want to talk about that one for a second? I think you said maybe like a surprise timeout.
Yeah, well, I passed up a couple games there that I wanted to talk about. Maryland, Michigan is one. Michigan needs to put up a fight against Maryland. They didn't do so against Notre Dame. They got absolutely spanked. I think this is a game for the pride of Michigan. They have to put up a fight. I did want to take a second just to hit on some D3 games that are coming up this weekend. We got some really great matchups. First on Thursday, Tufts goes down to Christopher Newport. That's number 1 versus number 4. That is a great game. Tufts is rolling. They just beat RIT, who, we all know who RIT is, but I think Tufts right now is the king of Division III lacrosse. See if a talented Christopher Newport team can upset them. A lot of good NESCAC games this weekend as well. Great Liberty League game on Saturday. RPI at RIT. That's number 5 versus number 3. RPI won the Liberty League last year. 2 top 5 teams. That's going to be a great game. RPI has weirdly had RIT's number the last few years. I'm so interested to see what goes on in that game. Gettysburg Swarthmore is another good game. And then on Sunday, Bowdoin at Amherst. Number 7 Bowdoin versus number 9 Amherst. Just, again, another great NESCAC game. And then obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Union's big win at Stevens this past Saturday. They upset number 9 Stevens at Stevens. I wouldn't really even call it an upset. I think Union was a better team. They looked great. Struggled a little bit early on, but they're coming. And they have Tufts at home next Tuesday, a week from today. So rooting for Union. They're starting to figure some things out, and excited to watch them beat Tufts.
And we got St. Lawrence coming to the Brookline area too. They're playing Skidmore, I believe. Should be a decent game. Slew's 500 last time I checked. I think they've struggled a bit offensively, just getting middies into tough spots. They got Daniel Mahoney kind of pulling weight. Offensively, Bobby Wells returning as well. So interested to see if they can pull that one out. I think Skidmore's got a good player.
Skidmack.
Good player.
That's about all I've seen from them. Roll Red.
We're very lucky, to say the very least. These are our games of the week. We have 3 games of the week. Our games of the week. We're just fired up to present to you our games of the week. For games of the week, only 2 this week. There's a lot of good games, but these are the 2 that we said, these are the games of the week. So we're going to talk about them in a little bit of detail for the sickos. All right, Harvard at Princeton. We do not have a spread because we are in Massachusetts. Michael is in New Jersey. This one's Saturday at noon on ESPN+. Harvard is in a position to shut everyone up about them being not the real deal and not being able to compete in the Ivy League. They have Princeton, who is probably the unanimous number 2 in the Ivy League right now. Maybe you could say Harvard's number 2, but after that loss to Cornell, I think everyone's saying, yep, it's got to be Cornell at the top. Hayden, offensively speaking, Harvard, they're very stout offensively. And I think when it comes to just, like, if you were to just name guys and players they have, I think you could probably say the same amount of guys for both these squads. But we'll start talking about offense, but I'd be very curious to know if you think Harvard can climb the mountain here.
Yeah, I think they certainly can. Playing at Princeton is hard. Princeton goes up to Cornell last weekend, and that's 1 versus 2 in the Ivy. Now we get 2 versus 3 in the Ivy, which is great. I just touched quickly on that Princeton-Cornell game last weekend. Both those teams are super talented. I think winning up in Ithaca is just really, really difficult. I was talking to my dad, actually, because he's played at that Cornell field a handful of times, and he says there's ghosts up there. So if we ever get a Cornell guy on the podcast, I'd like to ask him about the ghosts up in Ithaca. But looking at Harvard, Princeton, yeah, Harvard is legit. They haven't lost since that loss to Colgate in the middle of February. Since then, they've beat Syracuse, Marquette, Michigan, and Yale. Those are all good wins. They have proven that they are a top 10 team or wherever they're ranked. They haven't slipped since that Colgate game, so I think they've certainly figured some things out. Sam King is a guy we talk about always. He's as good as any attackman in the Ivy League. Maybe not C.J. Kirsten, maybe not Coulter McAsee, but he's right there.
Yeah.
I think he'll definitely be a first-team All-Ivy guy. I think Harvard can climb this mountain. Maybe they can catch a Princeton team that just got beat up by Cornell a little bit. But with that said, Princeton is as good as anybody. They're a national championship contender. I think Harvard is just trying to take that step to get into that conversation. I don't think they're there right now, but a win against Princeton could certainly push them into that echelon.
Mike, before you go, I think when it comes to Tuorton stuff, you're talking about Sam King compared to these other two attackmen in the Ivy League. I think he's in the room. I think he goes to New York for the Tuorton ceremony.
You think so?
Yeah.
He could. I mean, if
Harvard's got to make the playoffs.
Yeah, look,
true.
I think the whole Tuorton thing is it's tough to tell now because your Tuorton candidacy is so closely tied to your team's success. This is probably the most difficult game remaining on Harvard's schedule. If they win this game and then kind of roll through the Ivy League, actually they have Cornell at the end of the year, but if they can, drop one game in that 7-game stretch, Sam King is going to be in that room.
Yeah. And I don't even know if there is a room, but I was just kind of making a Heisman joke there. I'll pass it to...
Where they do it? They do it outside?
To Tuorton. They do it... I don't know. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just the quick matchup. You already spoke on Sam King. Colin Mulshine of Princeton, who I've already mentioned before. Both of these guys will be first-team All-Ivy, both probably All-Americans, so just a matchup to keep an eye on. They've played each other in the past, definitely last year, so just one of those conference matchups that is good to keep an eye on. And then the one thing I did want to note, I don't know if you guys noticed this, the Cornell-Princeton stream at Cornell was just brutal. It was brutal. I had to switch the channel. It was a top 10 game. I couldn't watch it. There was these pains.
Yeah, there's like waves
kept adjusting. Yeah, it kept adjusting, and it was making me sick.
I think
I was in Boston, and I was drinking a lot this weekend, so maybe that's why. But I could not watch the stream. I had to change the channel for a top 10 conference game, which is absurd to me.
Yeah.
So,
I think
I
know
know
Princeton's
Dan put
better,
something in
but-
my drink or something when I turn it on.
I think everybody thought their TV was broken watching that game. Like, damn, is our Wi-Fi down or something? But no, everybody experienced it.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
I went on a rant about BTN Plus, but yeah, the ESPN Plus. I mean, if you're going to host a top 10 matchup, step up to the plate for sure. Unacceptable. Next game of the week, Ohio State at Penn State. I mean, beginning of the season, you ask us if this is a game of the week. We're probably all shaking our heads. No, probably not. But it 100% is. Ohio State's red hot. Penn State is as well. They've both kind of climbed the mountain or gotten as good as they could this year. They've both blown out expectations thus far. Penn State is a 2.5 goal favorite at home in this one. Great time and a great network. It's on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Big Ten Network. So if you have the sports package with Xfinity, Verizon, whatever it might be, you're going to be able to watch this game. It's at Sunday at 7, so no excuses to not tune in as long as you have it. Mike, I know you have a lot of notes on the defense in this game, which I'm very excited about. If we don't know much about defense and we're not as obsessed with lacrosse as we are, what should we watch?
I mean, if you're a bettor and you bet the under, you should be watching that the whole game. But I think it's 22.5. But this is if you don't know anything about defense, you're going to want to watch the goalies in this game. Both are elite. Caleb Fiak for Ohio State and Jack Fressione for Penn State. I just think this is going to be a really physical game too, defensively. Really loud, hard checks. Guys are going to be on the dirt. It's gonna be one of those games. But if you're comparing here, Caleb Fiak of Ohio State has a 62% save percentage on the year. They, as a whole, on defense are the 6th best defensive efficiency at 22%, according to Lax Reference. And I think what's more impressive is the amount of goals that they're letting up. They've only allowed 3 teams to score over 10 goals or get into the double digits this year, that being Utah, Air Force, and Denver. What I think is more impressive for Ohio State is who they haven't allowed in the double digits, that being Notre Dame and UVA, only being 5. And then you go to Penn State, who is just kind of still to me kind of flying under the radar with just how good they're playing, especially on the defensive end. At goal again, Jack Frassion is at 55% save percentage. They have the 19th best defense according to efficiency at 25. And they've only allowed 2 teams over double digits, those 2 teams being Cornell and Princeton. 2 of probably the best offenses in all of D1. That was just Cornell 12 goals and Princeton 11 goals. So don't be surprised if this is just an absolute slugfest, a defensive battle at the highest level. So that's what I'm excited for.
Thanks, Mike. Hayden, before we talk about the offense, when I watch Ohio State play, I watched the game on Sunday against Denver. It looks like every guy on Ohio State's offense, just not knowing who everyone is, it looks like they were like a just textbook 5-star recruit that played football and basketball. They're all tall as shit, handsome dudes with big legs who just look like if they showed up at a club tournament, you're like, holy shit, we got to worry about this guy for the next 48 minutes. And the Duke coach is here watching my son. So it just looks like a nightmare waiting to happen. But that's what their offense looks like. Everyone is just a monster.
Yeah, and I think it's probably because 7 of their 8 top scorers are seniors. Ohio State's a very senior-heavy team. You know, going back to that Week 1 loss against Utah, it's almost like mind-boggling how they lost that game. Maybe they just weren't ready for the moment, the shock of Week 1, all that. But since then, they've beat Notre Dame, Denver, Virginia, Bryant, a couple other good teams. But they're a senior-heavy team, and I think going into this game, for a lot of these Ohio State seniors, this is maybe one of the biggest games they've ever played in an Ohio State jersey. It's the first time they've really been a top 10 team, have had everything rolling, have had some big wins under their belt, and now they go in to Big Ten conference play against a number 2 ranked Penn State team. They're a top 10 team. It's like, this is why we came to Ohio State, to play lacrosse, to get to the top of the rankings, to play in games like this. So, you know, no brainer that this is a game of the week. I'm excited to see if Ohio State is legit and if they can overcome the circumstance of going to Penn State, the number 2 ranked team in the country, and beating them on their home turf.
Penn State's number 2 in the country. Wow.
Yep.
So this is just like who was the second best team in the Big Ten. That's what this game.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams still have to play Maryland and Hopkins. So, you know, after those games, this game probably wouldn't happen, right? Both those teams might fall. They might drop a game here or there. But as it stands right now, these are, you know, it's the battle for who's the second best team in the Big Ten.
Yep. We all know Michigan can get as hot as a pistol, in the words of Joe Beninati. And it seems like Rutgers is just lost right now. Is that fair? Rutgers lost.
Rutgers has one of the best.
Proven anything, but like they're like Michigan to me, right? Like they can get in Big Ten conference play, and then somehow you're like, okay, Rutgers kind of figured it out with all their good transfers and recruits. It's just they have the foundation for it.
Yeah, you know, Rutgers has one of the best face-off kids in the country in Matt Pilato, Union transfer. They have one of the best goalies in the country in Carden Stoller. They come out weekly with these matrix of specialty rankings, right? Like which team has the best goalie and face-off unit combined. And Rutgers is consistently in the top right corner, which means that they're one of the best in the country in specialty units. I think it's just their offense, they're inexperienced. They're obviously a big transfer school. It's really hard to kind of mesh that quickly and play the schedule that they do. I'm a little disappointed in Rutgers. I thought they were going to have a big year. But the Big Ten is loaded. They still have a chance to redeem themselves down the stretch here and win some big games.
And they made the Big Ten tournament. Congratulations, Rutgers. You made the Big Ten tournament.
That's right.
All right, let's feed the family. Let's talk about betting here. New part of this segment, we have what's called our step-down picks. Each of us will have one step-down pick or bet. And I think what we've realized is that if we tell you to bet on something and we're talking to our viewers here and it misses, that weighs heavy on our conscience and our program, College Lacrosse Gameday. In order to kind of put some skin in the game, quite literally. If that bet hits, fantastic. We'll all rejoice. And if it does not hit, we will be standing against a cement wall in our driveway, and a partner from the show will shoot a tennis ball at them from 15 yards as hard as they can. And we're going to record it too and put it on the next episode. So, we're putting a lot of thought into this, but we're each going to have a step down pick. But first, let's just,
And you go until you hit them.
Yeah.
Get as many misses as you want.
And each person gets a shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 2 good welts on your back.
Right. Or right in the head, right in the helmet, which would hurt even more.
We get a helmet, right? Okay.
You can wear a helmet.
Yeah. Tennis ball too.
Got to make sure you tuck from the back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can't have any low-hanging fruit on the backside.
Right in the, it would hurt the most, like right in the shin right here.
We're aiming high.
That's where Tucker Dordevic got me.
Still sore.
All right, Mike, you got some picks written down. Talk about what you like just coming into the week. The one pick that we were pretty high on last week that did hit was Bryant covering against Albany. They did so. They won the game. Good comeback and a great American East win for Bryant. But we're moving on.
Love Bryant, like you mentioned. Bryant -1.5 at UVM or money line. Vermont just had a rough loss, one that I picked Vermont to win, and Bryant, like you mentioned, has had a big win against Albany, and it seems like they're hitting their stride here coming into American East play. So, like that one. I also like Lemoyne -1.5 at home against Cleveland State. They've been playing some good ball, and they just beat a good VMI team. I like that pick. I have a couple others listed. I can just spit out and get your guys' thoughts too. But I like Lehigh -1.5 at Bucknell. I like Lafayette moneyline at Colgate. I like, or the +2, which I saw you were kind of liking, Brett.
Lafayette, Loyola.
Yeah, Loyola. That would be
I
wouldn't bet on that.
Yeah, Colgate.
Lafayette at Loyola.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
And then Richmond +1.5 at Georgetown. I might even take Richmond moneyline. And then I like Stony Brook +4.5 at Towson.
I like those. I like Maryland -7 against Michigan. I think Michigan's down right now. I think Maryland has a chance to capture their soul. I like I'm with you, Mike. I like the Bryant pick. I like the Lehigh one a lot. That's like, just going through these, that's my favorite right now, I'd have to say. Lehigh -1.5 at Bucknell. Good win for Bucknell last week, but Lehigh beat up on Navy. Lehigh's good. So is Bucknell, though. I don't think Lehigh will fall asleep like Colgate did. That's why I really like it.
They're not going to pull a Colgate.
No. Not with Will Scudder at the helm.
Should we lock in our step downs?
Yeah, let's do it.
Does it have to be spread?
No, it can be over under.
Can't be money line.
Can't.
Moneyline's what I'm asking.
Can't be money line. It's got to be a spread.
Value here. We need value.
Then I feel like,
unless the money line is an underdog, you can't pick Syracuse.
I'm in between two. I'm in between Bryant -1.5 at Vermont, and I'm in Lehigh -1.5 at Bucknell. Those are my two favorites.
Yep.
You're going to put 2 on the table. It's risky.
No. I'm going to do Lehigh -1.5 at Bucknell.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
We need to figure out who's taking the step down, Mike.
My brother played attack in high school. He can do it.
There you go.
I'd be thrilled.
Make sure he's got some whip in that thing, whatever he's using.
Yep. And a crankshaft. Brett, you're up.
Yeah. I shouted mine out earlier. Lafayette has never beat Loyola. 13-game losing streak. But I feel good about this spread. I'm gonna go Lafayette +2. That's my pick.
Okay.
I feel confident about that.
Noted.
I'd be willing to soak a tennis ball in the back for that.
Okay.
Dump it in a bucket of water first.
Make sure it's heavy and waterlogged.
My step down pick of the week is Cornell -4.5 at Yale. I think, we've seen Yale this year. They're 1-4. They do play teams pretty tight, but I think Cornell is going to win this game by a lot. Taking Cornell -4.5.
That's a really good one. Oh, that's a really good one.
I think our listeners want to see Hayden challenged.
I mean, they gotta
playing it safe.
2 palms in the cement.
Yeah, hands go against the fence of the cement. I'm gonna take Maryland -7 at home against Michigan. I think they're gonna capture their soul.
Okay.
It's my step down pick.
Good pick. I like that one.
So we'll see how that goes. if you're wondering, that's a good pick, it's not a good pick, we're putting our
health.
Yeah, we're putting our health on the line here. We got to measure 15 yards exactly. Enjoy the games this weekend. Some good games we didn't talk about. We don't have forever to talk about all this, so make sure you tune in to just about everything. Enjoy this weekend of lacrosse. Some good night games too, which is important to keep your eye on. So when it's time to go to the bar, go do something fun, just ask the bartender. Do you guys have ESPN Plus? You guys have Big Ten Network? Don't be afraid. Speak up. That's what we need to do to grow this game. And keep listening to the show. Thanks so much.